Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. We're on our main set here today and we welcome back Wendy Hollick from Neat Spaces, and you're all about organizing, just getting kind of, actually I would call it de-stressing our lives as well, right?
Absolutely.
It really is that, and I think a lot of people sit in a lot of junk and things that they don't need to have around their house, and this time of year is like a refreshener. So you have some really great solutions, particularly for some of those spaces like our closets and again offices as well. I mean, but you do pretty much everything, don't you, in someone's house?
That's correct.
Yes.
Everything residential.
Yeah.
And it can be pretty, like you mentioned. And this is a portable device here that can be used in a laundry room for drying your clothes, can be put in an open space, a closet. It has many functions and it's all adjustable.
I love that.
So this is great.
Cool. And you know what, something like this is again something that I didn't think about and people don't think about, and that's why you're there to help somebody say, well, you know what, that little space there, I can add something like this and totally add a whole lot of storage room for you.
That's true.
Right? And I mean, all the different things that you have on here. So we start at the top here. I mean, these are beautiful ways of storing product or whatever you have. They look pretty. They don't have to be a shoebox like a lot of people use, right? Or something hideous. But these are really gorgeous and strong too. They are.
They're very nice, and they come in different sizes. And the thing is, if they're tall enough that they can hide your items as well.
Yes.
So
exactly.
a punch of color, a little bit of pretty, makes you smile when you see your space. You're more likely to respect it and put things back. Whereas if it's just all open shelving, it gets messy quickly and things aren't contained.
You're right though, and once you start to lose that organized space, it just starts to go. And you don't have respect for it anymore, and you just throw things on the shelves, right? And then that's how it becomes chaos.
That's right.
Okay, so moving down, we have all these great hanging ideas here, and you were mentioning some of these are just awesome for people to use for jewelry, for storing anything, really.
Yeah, and that one specifically is great for travel. You can fold it up, you can put all your toiletries in that for travel, or jewelry, or any of the little items that you travel with, or just to hang in your closet. Yeah. Or in a bathroom. And
these are all Umbra. These are, I mean, there's lots of really cool things that way. This is great as well for holding scarves. Great idea. I know right now, I can tell you, my scarves are on my floor in my closet. Because I try hanging them on a hanger and they all go to one side and then they all fall off. So this is awesome. So
yeah, it's great. And it's pretty.
It is. It is. It's actually pretty and it's functional. These people, they think outside the box.
That's right.
Okay, now this is cool too. Again, purses. A lot of times we're just throwing them up on the upper shelves in our closet or down below. But again, a nice way of hanging them.
That's true. And this can hold 4 to 8 purses depending on the size. And just sits very streamlined inside the closet, out back of the door.
Yeah. I like that. That's a great idea. Now, also, we actually should mention this. I kind of bypassed this area. This is cool because these come in many sizes as well,
They do. Colors, sizes, and they're great for shoe storage. They're great for putting in, like you say, the storage boxes, filling the storage boxes with items, or just using the shelves the way they are. So very versatile and can be adjustable in height as well.
I love that. Great idea. Great idea. Okay, so let's talk about this hanger system. I love this. Now, a lot of us have clothing in our closet that has been around for a long time, but we lose track of time, right? Because seasons come and go. You shuffle things around and you're like, oh, I've worn that. You probably have people saying, oh, I wear it all the time, but they haven't worn it in a long time.
That's right.
And so you have a system.
And it's hard to keep track because we really do think that we wear something often. So here's a really true test. So when you are wearing your item and then you're going to launder it and put it back, you're going to put it back this way, but you're going to start with your hangers this way. Okay. So you're going to have everything in your closet backwards. So take the time, put everything this way. Yes. And then when you launder and go to put it back, you're going to hang it.
Turn it around. So then at the end of the season, you look and you say, wait a minute, I still have some hangers facing out this way. I haven't even worn that.
That's right.
So what's the kind of the rule of thumb on that one? How long do you keep things around before it's time to move it along?
Well, some experts say 6 months. I'm a little more generous, maybe up to a year, because our seasons do run together. We tend to layer our clothing. So I would say a good 10 to 12 months at the max. And then you really have a good idea what you've worn, what you haven't, and what you need to pass on.
Right. And that's the thing. Also, that, you know, there's that little rule of when you buy something, you should be moving something along too, so you're not gaining a lot of stuff in your closet, right?
And if you sort your items like with like, you will see how many black pairs of pants you actually have and how many white blouses and how many jackets, and you really get a good sense of your inventory in your closet, because you really don't realize until everything's like with like
Yeah.
of how much you have.
It's true, because some people do have an obsession with, say, white shirts, or as you say, black pants. And if you're misplacing them, they're all over the place, you go and buy another one, and you go and buy another one, and all of a sudden you wait, I have way too many of these. If you have them organized properly, you won't overspend.
Right. And we have our favorites.
Yes.
The items that we wear over and over. So
yeah. And the good thing about it is, if there are some higher end products, or things that you know, maybe you didn't wear that season, but you do want to hang on to, that's where storage comes into play, right? So you can store those, put them away, get them in something pretty or somewhere else, and then bring them back out during the season, right? So you don't have to toss everything, but organizing is key, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go down below here and take a look at some of the other, again, general household products that we want to take care of.
This is the new spring colors. So again, it can be pretty and fun and vibrant. This is a new caddy for cleaning supplies.
I like that.
And I recommend having one on each level of the home. So when you go to clean the washrooms or whatnot, if your cleaning supplies are handy, you're more apt to pull them out, and it's not a chore to go downstairs to retrieve them.
You actually clean. Oh, it's downstairs. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good because it's plastic, and so if you do have any spills or
bright and colorful.
Yep.
Storage bins that are nice, bright colors this season as well. From Lego storage to.
Oh yeah, the Lego storage. That's great.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, there's so many possibilities, right? So again, from this whole unit here, you can see how you could lift things off the floor and away from a lot of intense, jammed in clutter, and space things out. And I think it's just really a big message with, you know, with Neat Spaces, is just knowing what you have, knowing where it is, right? And being able to find it and use it.
And less is more.
Less is more. That's a hard one for people, isn't it? Yeah, so basically people can call you, you can go to their house. How does it all work?
So we can do an over the phone consultation or in person, depending on the client's comfort level.
Right.
And we can start right away.
And basements, anywhere?
Anywhere.
Go all the way around, garage.
We open everything.
Oh my goodness. So any other little spring cleaning tips that you could offer some people just as they're looking at their house right now and trying to maybe tackle some of this?
Keep it simple. Pick the priority area in your home, whether that be the kitchen or the garage or your home office, and work in that area until it's complete before jumping to another area.
Okay.
And work clockwise. If you have a lot of clutter, working clockwise helps keep you focused and keeps the process moving.
Okay, that's a good idea. And just do little bits at a time. I know for me, I'm as busy as anybody, right? And we all are busy, and you're running around and you want to get it all done, but you can't do it all at once.
That's
so
right.
I find it, it's all overwhelming, so never mind, I won't get to it today. But instead, go to one cupboard, organize one cupboard, then it's done. And as you say, move around and you'll get it all done.
Right.
Yeah. So website for you is?
Neatspaces.ca.
Okay, and so you can log on to there, find out more information about Wendy does. And again, just these little tips and tricks will help you along the way. And then if you have a major project, and Wendy can come in and you guys can make people's places look gorgeous for spring and summer. So thanks, Wendy. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll be back with more Terra at Home in just a bit.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To Terra, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. I'm here with Colleen Zimmerman from Terra, and we're at the end of the month of March now officially, so we're starting to think about spring planting and getting some, well, again, beautiful vegetation and fruit for the summer.
Yes.
Right, so some of the things we need to think about, again, different rules apply for different ones.
Yes.
So what are some of the things first off, what we need to think about? I guess what we want to grow.
Yes, exactly.
Rule number one.
Rule number one, decide what you want to grow and where you can grow it. Not everybody has the space to have a garden outside, but that doesn't mean you can't grow your own edibles. A lot of things can grow in pots and containers.
And I love that idea, and I think that's one thing that I've learned a lot being here is, you know, I've always associated, oh, you have to have this big patch of, you know, area in your massive backyard to grow a garden.
Definitely not.
But there are so many people living in smaller dwellings now that they can't do that. And as like a pot, that's so cool. It can grow and it can happen and you can eat it.
Definitely,
Right?
definitely. Like you can grow, this here is a key lime, so you can even have citrus, like thinking outside of the box of your typical vegetables as well. A lot of things can go in containers. You've got your herbs, which most people grow. These are some radish sprouts that I've started. So they can grow on your windowsill. So you can grow those year round, and they take 3 to 6 days for them to get to this.
Yeah.
These, all of these little seeds that I started were a week ago. These ones here are lettuce. So they're great to grow in containers too because they grow really, really quickly. And the nice thing about them is they come in what's called a little seed mat.
I love this.
So you don't have to, you don't have to touch the seeds at all, and especially lettuce seeds, they're very small and they grow very quickly. So you just, in your container, or in the bigger container as well, you just put a little bit of soil down, put the seed mat down, cover it up lightly with soil.
And all the little seeds are in there. I love that. That's so smart, right? And again, as you say, they're so tiny and people don't know how many they put in. At least this is regulated, right?
Exactly.
Then you know
yeah, and it's spaced a little bit better than, you know, just putting the whole package in there.
Right.
And on the same line as that, when you do want to plant in the garden or in a larger container, because in a big window box, you can have a lot of stuff in there too and plant rows in the window box.
Right.
So these are radishes, and it's a seed tape. So again, you just dig a little trench, put that in the trench, cover it up with soil and water it, and then the seeds will sprout through this. This biodegrades. It's like a paper towel kind of material.
Yeah, right. It's like a little filter, and that is great. And again, as you say, for doing a long garden or even in the planter, but to go across like that, you know what you have, you know you've used your space, and again, some of these seeds are so tiny.
Yeah, and especially working with kids too, that, you know, the little finicky little seeds, then it's kind of nice because they can hold it on one end, you can hold it at the other end, and then cover it up in the middle.
Help you out. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so there's lots of possibilities here of what you can grow, but right now, this time of year, people can be thinking, what would be the best stage? Because not everything you can start inside, right? Some things you have to wait until later on and just go directly to the garden, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are best started inside if you want to start from seed. Peppers and tomatoes, for instance. So like if you want to grow your own peppers, or cherry tomatoes are great to grow in a container or in the garden. And those ones, the seeds are best to start inside because it takes a little bit longer for them to get up to a considerable size to be transplanted outside.
Okay, so it's actually really a nice time to get yourself a head start, right? And then you're good to go for summer. Because we have such a short season, we have to work quickly, don't we?
Yeah, and that's another thing to pay attention to is how long a season is on the seeds packages or the things that you want to grow. These, for instance, these are beans. I planted those a week ago, so obviously they grow very quickly. This is something that you can plant directly in your garden and not have to worry about it.
Because if you do it now, you'll be like, you'll have beans all through your living room into your bathroom.
Exactly.
Like a big beanstalk. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But you're saying this is really fun for kids because because of the quick growth.
Yes.
They, you know, if you gave them their own little pot or whatever, then they can
And there's tons of different dwarf beans that you can grow in containers so they can see it every day, and they can help harvest it. I always get my kids to help me harvest the beans, and I grow purple beans, and they think it's great because it's a different color and it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
And getting the kids involved too, because then they can see things growing and they're more apt to kind of take ownership over it.
Yes.
And let them help pick what's going to grow. You know, if they like potatoes, you can also grow potatoes in containers. We have a new container grown potatoes this year that you can take the liner out, harvest some of the potatoes and put it back in, so you can grow them on your patio.
Oh, that's amazing. And people wouldn't think, again, that you could do that with potatoes, right? You just think that they need more space, and that's not possible. But they grow pretty quickly too, don't they?
They do grow pretty quickly. It does take until about the end of September for the full harvest if you're growing them in your garden. We do have the seed potatoes here, and one thing that's kind of fun, this is actually from my garden last year, and that is a Chieftain red skin potato, which is really great for baking or doing anything. I also like growing the purple potatoes for the kids.
This is so cool. These purple potatoes, we were saying, like, nutritionally, they're great for you.
Yes.
But the kids love them too.
Yep.
And they look good on a plate if you're trying to be fancy.
Exactly. If you're getting your seed potatoes too, these are what's called eyes. So you actually get more than just that when you plant it. You just take a paring knife and you split it so that you have at least one eye per piece, and then that's the piece that you plant just like that.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then on the inside, and they stay purple when you cook them.
Yeah, that's
so
the cool part, right? All the dye doesn't run out.
Purple mashed potatoes, or you can do like scalloped potatoes and do like a layer of purple in there, so it's kind of fun.
That's actually a really great idea. And again, just the possibilities are endless, right? So, you know, moving on to also as well some of the fruit. Now, you were mentioning, I think people a lot of people I know are surprised that you can actually grow some of the citrus fruit up here, that people don't think we have the proper climate for it.
It is a tropical, so you can grow it on your patio, and then you do have to bring them in over the winter and just keep them in a sunny window inside.
Okay, and just kind of keep them in a stable, like nice warm environment, right?
Yeah, treat them like a houseplant over the the winter months.
And then you can actually grow your own citrus. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Other neat things you can grow aside from vegetables, because most people are familiar with that. You can grow pears, like we have Bosc pears here. We'll have Bosc pear trees.
Because I'm thinking like farmland, people growing pears, but you can grow pears
there's
yourself.
There's a lot of dwarf varieties as well, and we will also have multi-fruit trees. So you'll have like a delicious apple and a Cortland apple and a Gala apple all on the same tree.
Oh wow, that's so fun.
And we'll have that with pears as well. So you have multiple varieties of pears on a tree, and with cherries as well.
Okay, so what I really need to ask about is how you're supposed to feed these little guys, right? Because you're trying to grow them as organically as possible, which is why you're growing them yourself, right? Yes. So as natural as possible. What do you know? We have the shake and feed here. What do you do? How do you fertilize your plants?
Shake and feed, or any slow release fertilizer, an all-purpose fertilizer, is good for in-ground gardens. Okay. And then as it rains or as you water it, it'll naturally go through. If you are growing in containers, they tend to feed a little bit heavier because it's a more contained system. Okay. And as you're watering, the nutrients will leach out a little bit quicker. So you do need to water them and fertilize them a little bit more frequently.
Right, and we've learned that with just even like just annual plants that we have, that they do, you have to keep a little more upkeep, right? Yeah. So, but that's the thing. So you're doing the shake and feed, and so it's okay, obviously you're eating these, right? So these are meant for being ingested, and it's okay. I've had people mention that to me. It's a fertilizer
meant for that. It's all in the soil. It's not going on onto the plant part that you're eating, and it's a feed that you're feeding.
Yeah, so basically it's almost giving your soil the vitamins and minerals that it needs to grow great things. And that's also going to help with, what about bugs and stuff like that? Like people get worried about that.
There's a lot of things that it's called companion planting. So there's things that you can grow with it. I sometimes will grow marigolds in my garden because the smell and the marigold itself will detract. Onions and garlic are great to grow with other things, and some herbs as well will help detract.
And that's a natural way of prevention.
Yeah.
Okay, so many tips, right? And we could talk about this for a long period of time. Colleen, thank you so much for all this information. Of course, you can come into TERRA anytime and start working on some of these the ones that you can do inside, and ask the questions, because I know you guys have all the answers, and there's a lot of little things. Obviously, I'm interested, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So thanks, Colleen. Good stuff. All right, we'll be back with more TERRA at Home in a bit.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Good morning, welcome back to TERRA at Home. We have a special guest in our kitchen today, Chef Jackie. Welcome in your nice pink coat.
Thank you so much.
And we are baking today because you are a student for baking and pastry arts. And you are actually apprentice with Chef Rachel of ours, right?
I am,
Which is really great. And eventually, soon, you're going off to Paris.
Yes.
So we're lucky to have stolen you for a moment to make us something really yummy in the kitchen and something sweet, which I love. What are we making today?
We're making classic French macarons, which are a very classic French sandwich cookie. It has a meringue base, very, very simple to make. Meringue base with almond flour and icing sugar and a little bit of sugar.
Oh, almond flour.
Yeah, cool. It's a great alternative to use as a binder in baking.
I guess, yes, it would be, right? And it's good for nowadays for a lot of people who are trying to find alternative flours.
Exactly, and I actually realized while I was making these that they are actually gluten-free.
See, there
which
you
is
go.
kind of nice.
That's always nice, right? Because some people are trying ways to create something gluten-free out of what, but naturally these are just gluten-free already.
Yeah,
so
they're pretty great.
Skip a step, so that's good. Okay, so well, why don't we show how to make them, because they come in such beautiful colors. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
But the beginning stages.
Okay, so one of the most important parts of making macaron happen before you even begin. So you're going to take 1 cup of icing sugar and you're going to mix it in your food processor with 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. You're going to let that go around for about 15 to 20 seconds, which makes sure that you have a really fine grind. Lets it incorporate into the meringue really easily.
Ah, okay.
So for our meringue, we have 3 egg whites in our mixer here. Just going to turn that up, put it on full speed. It also has 1 tablespoon of meringue powder in there, which actually gives your egg whites a little bit of a boost. Gets them to whip up a little faster.
I don't think I've ever heard of meringue powder before.
Yeah. Once they get a nice foam going, you're going to slowly add in 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And once that's all added, you're just going to let it go around until you get medium to stiff peaks in your meringue. Just takes a couple minutes. And this is also a really great time to add your color. If you're just doing 1 color for your macaron, you can add it now. I like to use the liquid food coloring.
Okay.
But if you only have the paste food coloring, which is what I have here, you can mix it with a little bit of glycerin, which you can find at any bulk barn.
Okay, yes, I've seen that.
And it makes it into a liquid. It makes it a lot easier to incorporate into any liquid.
Okay. What I thought is interesting is that that coloring, when you poured it in, it looked like it was orange, but we're actually making pink ones.
Yes, we are making pink ones today. It does look a little orange, but then when it gets added in.
It is beautifully in pink. I love it.
Perfect.
And we're starting to see these are more and more across the border now here in Canada.
Yes.
And, but they're just such a cutest little cookie, and we're saying they come in such an array of gorgeous colors.
They do, and classically, when we were taught these in school, we were told to do really pastel colors, but I prefer the really bright ones. So I'm just adding my meringue into my almond flour mix.
That is fun.
And you're going to very gently fold in until it's incorporated.
Let's move that over for a second, just so we have some. I love that. And one thing about baking versus cooking, baking is a little bit more of an exact science, right?
It definitely is, yes.
And the techniques of how you mix it, where you're mixing or blending or folding, versus also your measurements. Like everything is, with cooking, I've heard you can kind of, you can finagle and you make a mistake and you fluff it up over here and do something else to it.
Exactly.
But baking, a lot of people are really afraid of.
Yeah, you do have to be really careful, but this is a great method that makes it really accessible for everybody to make, because the classic method involves a lot of boiling sugar and all that stuff. Okay. So I'm just putting this into a piping bag, and this piping bag has a number 4 tip on it, which just has a big enough opening so that we can pipe it out. And actually, another really cool tip that I use is I put my piping bag in a plastic cup. Yeah. It helps.
Either that or you have to have a kitchen assistant, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's really cool.
I don't know how many times I've been in my kitchen and yelling for one of my sisters to come help me.
Help me with this. I need to hold it. Right.
So now we're going to pipe onto a parchment-lined tray.
All right.
And one of the most important things with baking macaron is that you have to make sure that your piping bag is straight up and down, so you don't get wobbly macaron when they are baked.
Okay.
So we're piping in loonie-sized circles. Pipe, stop, give a little flick.
And I guess because of the sticky texture, it just kind of does
pop
off there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's great. And these are perfect because of the timing of the show coming up on Easter. This is a great little Easter treat to make, right?
Yeah,
Kids
you can make them
Whoa!
in any color that you'd like. And if you do have these little Hershey Kisses tops, you can take a wet finger and just tap them down, and then it'll tap down really nicely. Or you could also tap it on the counter a couple times, and they'll flatten out really nice.
Okay, good to know.
Now, the last most important part of making macaron is you need to let them sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. And what this does is it creates a little bit of a skin on the top of the macaron. Okay. So when they bake, they puff up really nice instead of spreading out, and you get that great crinkle around the base of them.
Oh, okay, so that's a good tip, because if you're rushing and you want to, good things take time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to actually show what they look like after they've
So these ones have sat for about 45 minutes to an hour, and if you touch them, you can feel that they're soft on top, and they're a little they're not as shiny as they were before. They've gone kind of matte. So those are ready to go in the oven. They're at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes.
And I didn't know any better. I would think they're already baked.
I know.
I'd be starting to eat them, but no. So okay, so that's easy enough. And now let's talk about a little bit while we have a moment here, while those do go in the oven, about the filling itself. What is the filling?
So that's where you can get really creative with your macaron. I typically use jams or jellies. You can do like raspberry or strawberry, but you can also get really creative with it and do a ganache. You could do a raspberry chocolate ganache. You could do a lemon curd filling.
Okay.
You could do anything like that. Anything that your heart desires.
That's
really.
what I think, because I feel like I've seen different ones, but yeah, the jam would be nice.
Yeah,
right?
you can play around with flavors a lot, flavors and colors. In school, we did pistachio ones with a pistachio buttercream, and they were green, which was really cool. And we did pink ones with a raspberry chocolate ganache, which was delicious. And anything that you do.
Yeah, anything goes. And it's funny because I always, we call them here macaroons because we're Canadian, but our macaroons, our version of macaroons here have coconut in them.
Macaroons and macaron are two different confections.
Different
they
things.
are. A lot of people get them
people
confused.
Need to know. There's no coconut in here.
No coconut in those.
That's why they look so different, everybody. They're not chocolate in like little haystacks.
Yes, they are a little bit different.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to make these into the cute little sandwiches that they should be. All right. Thank you. We'll be back in a sec.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, and we're in the kitchen, and we're back with Chef Jackie making our French macaron, which is not a macaroon at all, as we've discovered. So these were in the oven for how long again?
About 8 to 10 minutes. You just want to watch them because you don't want them to get any brown on them.
No.
You'll know that they're done when you can touch them and you can feel that they're a little bit crisp.
Okay.
And you can actually pick them up off of the parchment, and they're nice
like
and
little
perfectly
candies.
done. Yes, they do.
Okay, so we were talking about the fillings and the variety of fillings beforehand, but you're choosing to use a jam.
I'm using a homemade strawberry jam. You do want to choose something that has a little bit of a stronger flavor because that's how you're introducing your flavor to your macaron, is through the filling.
Right, because they really don't have a lot of taste to them.
They don't, no. It's just a very...
texture.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
They're all air and deliciousness. So we're going to take 1/2 of our macaron. We're going to put a little bit of strawberry jam on the bottom. Don't want to use too much.
Yeah, because you want them squishing all out the side and make a big mess, right?
And that's one of my favorite tools, by the way, offset palette knife. It's phenomenal. And then you set it on top.
Okay, and then you just sit them for a little while. Now, do you have to do, what else do you have to do with them? It's just to set like that? Or?
Yeah, I would just let them set for probably about ½ hour, 45 minutes, just so that they don't start moving all around like that one kind of is now.
That's okay. Well, as you're making another one, I just want to mention that you can find this recipe on our website as well. And of course, as with all of our cooking segments, terragreenhouses.com. And they're so cute, and I love that you can just make all kinds of flavors, especially for Easter. So we love that you've come in and joined us, and hopefully you come back again sometime.
Absolutely,
we know that you're off to Paris, so when are you leaving?
April 21st is when I leave. I'm going with my school. Very exciting. I'm going to do a 2-week pastry school course there.
I love that. So you're going to learn lots of really great things, right?
I am, yeah. There's so many different classic French desserts that we're going to be learning, and I'm sure we'll be making macaron as well, so I'll have to bring back some for you guys.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's any techniques differently, anything that they do different than you've already learned.
Yeah, I know. There probably is. I can only imagine that there is.
It's France.
It's France. It is the birthplace of all things pastry.
Okay, so I love this. So you're going to come back and teach us some new things that you learned in France.
For sure,
Thanks,
I will.
Chef Jackie. That's it for now. Have yourself a good weekend.